Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and we have some very interesting news regarding the Call of Duty franchise. So Season 4 launched just a couple of days ago on June 14th, and for a lot of people, at least in my own personal circle, it seems like not that many people are hyped up about Season 4. There's some interesting bits of content, but the game launched in a pretty buggy and bad state, and as a result, over the course of time, people got burned out on the game and then probably moved on to something else. That was my theory, right? Well, apparently I'm completely wrong about this. So immediately after Season 4 dropped, Call of Duty jumped up 5 spots on the Steam bestsellers list, and the $30 Black Cell Battle Pass jumped up to become the 3rd best-selling thing on Steam during that initial window. On Xbox and PlayStation, Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone, because of course they're the same game, became the number 2 most played games on both platforms during the initial launch of Season 4, behind only Fortnite. So apparently Season 4 was a pretty massive launch. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that we have a new Warzone map, but regardless, that is pretty interesting. Well, it's been a couple of days, and I was curious to see how those numbers may have changed, and what's crazy is they really haven't. On PlayStation, Modern Warfare 2/Warzone is currently the number 1 most played games at the time of this video being recorded, and on Xbox it still remains number 2, again, behind Fortnite. On Steam, the popularity has waned quite a bit, but Modern Warfare 2 is still currently the number 6 best-selling game at this current moment, with the Black Cell Battle Pass now being number 12. Now, it is worth mentioning, if you look at this list right here, right, CSGO is considered to be a best-selling game despite the fact that it's free, so best-selling may just be counting the most downloaded games at the moment, and of course Warzone is free, so lots of people would be downloading that, or maybe this is just taking into account the games making the most money all around with sales and microtransactions and things like that. We all know with the $30 Battle Pass and the ridiculous amount of shop bundles and the billions that they make every year off microtransactions that Call of Duty is pretty popular when it comes to making money, but is it actually popular based on the merit of the game itself? I mean, Warzone is free, so for sure lots of people are going to be downloading it, and as much as I hate to say it, I feel like the vast majority of people, when you say, do you want to play Call of Duty, or do you play Call of Duty, or things like that, they're talking about Warzone. Like, Warzone is COD now, I fully believe. I don't have any metrics to back that up, it's just my own personal anecdotal evidence, but I really do feel like the vast majority of people that love COD, or the newer generation of COD player, they play Warzone. They talk about Warzone. The traditional Call of Duty multiplayer is just kind of like this extra side thing that people go to level up their guns pretty quickly so they can then jump back into Warzone. And I think it's definitely evident in the quality of the games themselves. I think that if you go back even just a couple of years, the launch day content that we would have in COD is so much better than what we have now since the advent of Warzone. Warzone is something that is just such a cash cow for Activision, and it truly does at times feel like Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops Cold War, Vanguard, all those games. It just felt like they are just a front, a vehicle, if you will, to try to push people into Warzone, because that's where people spend the most money and the most playtime. It's very exploitative in that sense, right? And you just look at the amount of content that we get in multiplayer, the number of updates that we get in multiplayer, the current bugs that are still plaguing the game since the launch of it. I mean, for crying out loud, they cannot figure out how to make spectating work in Search and Destroy. If you go back as far as Call of Duty 4, which I believe might have been the first game to have Search. I didn't play the previous ones before that, but in Call of Duty 4, if you died, you're playing Search and Destroy, you immediately start spectating whoever else is on your team, but that's not a thing in Modern Warfare 2. There's a big delay where they just give you a black screen because there was a bug that they apparently couldn't fix, but they don't want to fix it, where you could spectate the other team or have a free camera. They've had like little bugs like this pretty much since the inception of the game, and they just don't get fixed because Call of Duty is a one-year title, whereas Warzone is something that kind of goes on for years and years and years. Things that happen in Warzone, I think, are a lot more important, I suppose, to the developers over there at Activision Blizzard, and of course Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Phoenix, all 3,000 developers, right? You know, that's one game that goes on for years and years and years, whereas a game like Modern Warfare 2, well, that's a one-year game. It's not supposed to be a two-year game. Apparently, it was never meant to be a two-year game, according to them, and as a result, I don't think they actually pay as much attention to a game like Modern Warfare 2. I feel like the multiplayer itself is just being pushed to the wayside. I've been talking about that for years, but I definitely think these numbers here are really interesting because, again, it goes to show that Call of Duty is still very popular, but the problem is is now that Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone, not Warzone 2, they got rid of that name, but now that these games are just one, you can never really quite tell what's going on with the multiplayer versus what's going on with Warzone. You have no idea. Warzone could be 90% of the player base. Multiplayer could be 90% of the player base. I mean, that's completely unlikely in my opinion, but it just goes to show, like, you can't tell how many people are in multiplayer, how many people are in Warzone, which game is actually more popular, which game is making the most money for Activision, which one is selling the best. When you look at, Modern Warfare 2 jumping up to being like the #2 best-selling thing on Steam, even though Steam is like its smallest platform, that seems like a pretty big deal. But at the same time, you don't know if we're talking like the vast majority of players are playing multiplayer or if they're playing Warzone or what is happening, and that is definitely by design. Activision wants to have that ambiguity there so that Call of Duty always looks like it's very popular in one way or the other. That's just how it is, man. And as someone who really cares about the Call of Duty multiplayer, that's my bread and butter. That's what I've been playing since 2007. Like, literally half my life has been spent playing COD. I started playing the game when I was like 15. I'm 31 now, man. Like, more than half my life I've been playing COD, and for a lot of that, I've been sitting here making videos on YouTube. I have over 3,300 something videos here on this channel alone, not counting previous channels or my second channel or my Twitch or anything like that. It feels weird, man. It does. It feels weird that we're in a state where multiplayer does seem to be neglected, but at the same time, they're pushing out all these big numbers every year. It's a best-selling title every year. They're making X amount of billions of dollars from microtransactions. Every time Season 4 comes out, suddenly it's the #1 most played game on Xbox, PlayStation, and basically Steam as well. When it's Season 4, when I feel like the vast majority of players don't give a shit anymore, maybe I've been in too much of an echo chamber. Maybe that I'm completely open to that idea. I'm completely open to the possibility that the game is in a much better state than I think it is. But as somebody who actually grinded the game, as somebody who actually got to pretty decent levels, as someone who actually went through and got all the camo challenges done and got Orion and things, I feel like the game's hollow, man. I feel like there really isn't a lot to do. And they do add those new camo events every time they have a season reloaded, which is fine. But after getting Orion, there's really nothing to grind for in the game. There's no 100%er, there's no prestige mode, there's no really anything to work towards besides getting that animated GIF on your gun. And that's pretty much it. And I just wish there was a lot more to COD. I've been playing a lot of other games lately, and these other games have so much progression to them. I'm like, where's that with COD? But at the end of the day, Activision is a business. Blizzard is also a business. I should do a video on the paid PvE content that's going to be coming to that game. I might do a video on that later on. We'll see. But they are a business at the end of the day. They're in the business of making money. And when you can put in the least amount of actual content for multiplayer fans and still make a ridiculous amount of money from microtransactions and Warzone, I see why they do it. Am I happy about it? Fuck no. I'm definitely not happy about it, man. I'm so sick of this shit. I just want a good COD that I can grind and grind and grind again. Like the last time I really had a COD game, and I know this may rustle some jimmies, but the last time I got super invested in the COD game and I played it all day, every day, all the modes, was Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 was fantastic. There was 100%er, there was Dark Matter, there was constant DLC weapons, there had all the different seasons with free battle passes associated with them. On top of that, you had Blackout, you had zombies, you had the supply drop system, which I know we all don't like supply drops, but at least with that supply drop system, every day you wanted to go get your daily tier skip and zombies, but you also wanted to get on and grind your daily contracts to get more supply drops, to either save up to buy a weapon directly or just open and hope that you get something cool. Like, there was always something to do in that game, whereas a game like Modern Warfare 2, I kid you guys not, like the moment I got Orion camo, I'm like, shit, game's like over now, isn't it? And I think Prestigious Key actually made a video similar to that a while ago, saying he doesn't want the camo grind to end because once it does, what's he gonna play for? And at that point, like, you can just run around and have fun and try and get some kills and whatnot. But if you're someone that's played COD for a long time, I know this video is like super rambly, I apologize, but if you've been playing COD for a very long time, like I have, right? Running around in a game of domination and getting 50 kills or whatever, it feels good, for sure. But it gets stale after a while. If all you care about is how many kills you get or whether or not you won or lost that match, that's fine. That can get you, at least for me personally, that can get me going for a while. But eventually, there needs to be something else on top of that. I need to be working towards camos. I need to be working towards prestige mode. I need to be working towards challenges. I need to be working towards X, Y, and Z while I'm playing the game. Like, the game is the cake. Everything else is the icing. And god damn it, we have no icing on this cake anymore. And I'm getting pretty sick of it. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is my long-winded discussion discussion, I suppose, on the fact that Season 4 is actually much more popular than I initially anticipated. I was wrong, and I completely admit that, but I'm just still wondering. It's so... there's so much ambiguity behind everything. I don't know. Is Modern Warfare 2 popular? Or is it just Warzone 2, given the fact there's a new map? We could argue either way, but we don't know for sure. And that's exactly what Activision wants. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.